You are listening to KSG Podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, exam-oriented, edited editorial for civil services aspirants. In this podcast, we are going to talk about Supreme Court Review EWS reservation. Source for the content is the Times of India. The Supreme Court has upheld the 103rd Constitution Amendment providing for 10% quota for the economically weaker sections (EWS) from unreserved categories. A five-judge Constitution bench in a 3-2 verdict held that the provisions of the amendment are not in violation of the Constitution. It examined the angle as the Constitution does not talk about the concept of preferential treatment on the basis of a person's economic status. Now, talking about the amendment, the bill for the amendment was introduced in Parliament in January 2019 and subsequently passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha before getting the presidential assent. It introduces 10% reservation for EWS, economically weaker sections, for admission to government as well as private unaided educational institutions, except for minority educational institutions. It also provides for similar reservations for employment in government jobs. Now, talking about the 50% quota cap issue, petitioners challenging the amendment cited the 50% upper limit on reservation fixed by the Supreme Court in the Indra Sani judgment of 1992. The court had then upheld the introduction of reservation for OBCs, but nevertheless put a cap of total reservation at 50%. Knowing that some advanced communities within the backward class may corner the benefit of reservation, it also introduced the concept of creamy layer by which the affluent among the OBCs should be denied the benefit of reservation. Now, talking about the centre's argument, the centre said that granting 10% quota to the poor section will not impact other categories. It also drew the court's attention to creation of more than 2.1 lakh seats in central educational institutions to ensure that EWS quota did not impact SC/STs and OBCs. It also argued that the 50% upper limit on quota is not a golden, invaluable rule. Now, who can avail EWS quota benefits? Persons with an annual gross household income of up to 8 lakh rupees, families owning over 5 acres of agricultural land, a house over 1,000 square feet, a plot of over 100 yards in a notified municipal area, or over a 200 yards plot in a non-notified municipal area cannot avail the benefit. Communities that already have reservations, such as SCs, STs, are also excluded. Now, what is the law on EWS reservations? The 103rd Amendment of 2019 inserted Articles 15(6) and 16(6) in the Constitution to provide 10% reservation to EWS other than backward classes. The 103rd Amendment of 2019 inserted Articles 15(6) and 16(6) in the Constitution to provide 10% reservation to EWS other than backward classes, SCs and STs in higher educational institutions and initial recruitment in government jobs. The rationale was that the amendment could empower state governments to provide reservations on the basis of economic backwardness, determined by criteria such as land size owned, annual income, etc. Article 15 prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16 guarantees equal opportunity in matters of public employment. The additional clauses gave Parliament the power to make special laws for EWS, as it does for SCs, STs, and OBCs. The EWS reservation was granted based on the recommendations of a commission headed by Major General. The EWS reservation was granted based on the recommendations of a commission headed by retired Major General S.R. Sinha. The commission, which was constituted by the UPA government in March 2005, submitted its report in July 2010. The Sinha Commission recommended that all below poverty line families within the general category as notified from time to time, and also all families whose annual family income from all sources is below the taxable limit, should be identified as EBCs, economically backward classes. Now, why is EWS reservation under challenge? Calling the amendment an attack on the constitutional vision of social justice and a fraud on the Constitution, those petitioning against it contend that if upheld, it will be the end of equality of opportunity. They also argued that it violates the basic structure of the Constitution and breaches the 50% ceiling for reservation fixed by the Supreme Court ruling in the Mandal Commission case. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSG India courses and to crack the IELTS exam, visit ksgindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this podcast on ksgindia.com. Thanks for watching.